you going to shoot me?
That depends. Do you see me?
Go. It knocked the plate off the chain. The silenced Remington 1187 from No Country for Old Men. I made this thing because I was getting kind of frustrated. For the past 10 years, every time someone posts a video of a suppressed shotgun, everyone in the comments is talking about No Country for Old Men, even though the shotgun in the video looks nothing like it. Now, I made this myself, and it's faithful to both the prop that's in the movie and the gun as described in the book No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Also, it's faithful to shotgun suppressor designs that were available back before the movie came out and back when the book and movie was set in 1980. Now, the book and the movie are both incredible. Go read the book. But today I'm not going to be talking about the story. I'm going to be talking about that gun in particular. This silenced Remington shotgun is about as popular as the movie itself. Whenever you hear about the movie, you're likely to hear about the gun too. Now, this weapon is really a part of Anton Chigurh's character. Like the man, the weapon is dangerous and mysterious. His weapons are exotic and unusual. He had a pneumatic cattle gun, improvised silencers, tracking devices, and the silenced shotgun. Now, back in 2007, when No Country for Old Men came out, shotgun suppressors existed, but they were mostly unknown to the public. Seeing this assassin's handmade silencer turning a buckshot blast into a whisper was impressive and a bit terrifying. Its unique style, the short black shotgun with the big chrome suppressor, had a unique look. Combine that with its unique zip sound, the American gun nut audience was amazed. Everybody was saying, is it real? Could it possibly work? Where can I buy one right now? After that, I would say it reignited interest in shotgun suppressors in the American gun market. The look and sound of Anton Chigurh's silenced shotgun was so prominent that it inspired many imitations in video games. For example, Far Cry 2, Payday 2, Maximum Action, GTA 5, and The Last of Us.
Keep them coming! That's one!
Let me know if there's any that I missed. Now, even today, gunsmiths and shooters designing their own shotgun suppressors use Anton Chigurh's silencer in the film as a benchmark, trying to get their shotgun suppressors down to that pleasant zip sound in the movie. Now, that's a very difficult task, and I'll explain why later. Keep in mind, No Country for Old Men was written about 1998 to 2004. Now, back then, the idea of a silenced shotgun was unusual, but definitely not fictional. Many believe that the Silencer Co. Salvo 12, first produced in 2014, was the first shotgun suppressor ever, but that was definitely not the case. Now, let's look at some examples of shotgun suppressors made prior to 2004. and see what would have inspired the prop in the movie, the gun in the book, and where I drew inspiration for the actual functions of my suppressor. In the year of 2000, a Beverly Hills, California company called Tactical Operations Incorporated designed a 12-gauge suppressor designed for the Remington 870 pump action. It's called the Clandestine 12. Now, it was designed for breaching doors, and it even came with a unique standoff device designed to protect the operator from shrapnel and gas. It is an integral suppressor, permanently attached to the barrel. I believe it incorporated barrel porting in some way, but it's hard to tell. The actual baffle design, internal design of the suppressor was an industry secret, which they referred to as artificial environment technology, which I think just means they ran it wet. They put lithium grease in it, water in it, petroleum jelly, stuff like that, and it worked very well. And the suppressor was almost 4 pounds, which reduced the recoil down to about nothing. This suppressor was marketed towards law enforcement, special forces. I don't know exactly how successful it was because they're quite rare. The only footage I could find of it being used was some short, low-quality demos by the gunsmiths that worked on it. The Clandestine 12 was referenced as inspiration by the NRA museum director, Phil Schreier, in an interview discussing the prop from No Country for Old Men. That prop is now sitting in the NRA museum, by the way. Now, the book was published about 5 years after the Clandestine 12's debut, so it very well might have served as inspiration in McCarthy's book. In 1997, the Hush Power brand was established. It was a shotgun suppressor built and sold in the United Kingdom, and it's still popular today. Now, I said the brand was established in 1997. It was designed, maybe sold sometime prior in the 90s. A Hush Power representative wouldn't give me an exact date. It came attached to budget shotguns, but could be custom fitted to really any shotgun of your choosing. It came in 3 gauges, 410, 20 gauge, and 12 gauge. It was an integral suppressor, well, is an integral suppressor, they're still sold today, with about 3/4 of its length being ported barrel, and the last quarter is just baffles, sometimes stacked baffles or a monocore with just plenty of clearance for the shot and wad to fly safely through. 20 gauge and 410 models are incredibly quiet, with the 410 model sounding like a pellet gun. With the 12 gauge, it's quite loud, but the sound is better. Much better on your ears, much better on your neighbors.
Oh, you just...
Got one on the left too. There was a company in Finland in the early 1990s called BR Tawate Kou. That's hard to say, so I'm going to say BRTK. Now, in the early 1990s, they produced a wide variety of suppressors, mostly for military applications. They also produced shotgun suppressors. BRTK's suppressors were made and sold mostly in Europe, but were occasionally imported to the United States. Their shotgun suppressor design was a perforated tube design. It essentially works very similar to an integral suppressor. However, it installs by threading into the end of the muzzle, just like a choke. The suppressor utilized a tube covered in ports that would release the gases of the shot into the suppressor while safely directing the shot and wad straight down the tube. This was just like the integral suppressors of the day. However, it could be manufactured as its own unit and installed separately. While it was installed on some fancy tactical looking shotguns, as far as I could tell, it was not really considered for military applications. Now, those were the only commercially available examples that I could find. Now, since the 1980s, perhaps sooner, integral shotgun suppressors were made right here in America by smaller gunsmith workshops. Now, these were not very well known and poorly documented, but they did exist. The best example that I could find is this integrally suppressed bolt-action 12-gauge made by a gunsmith called Thomas Ring on YouTube.
You hear it hit? This is buckshot. 12 gauge buckshot, line double pellet.
He has a lot of cool stuff to look at. His channel's very entertaining. Please go give him a sub. Now, most shop-made suppressors from 1980 to 2024 are integral, fully integral. They utilize a ported barrel with the suppressor built around the ported section of barrel. It's very simple, reliable, maybe not the most effective, but that's the most popular way of doing it because it is incredibly safe to do so. Now, after reading Cormac McCarthy's books, I can tell he's very familiar with firearms, especially custom, boutique, exotic American firearms. I think one of these handcrafted American shotgun suppressors is what inspired McCarthy's silenced Remington semi-automatic shotgun in his book. Or maybe in 2000, while he was writing the book, he saw TAC Ops Clandestine 12, and he used that as inspiration. In fact, one of their prototypes looked incredibly similar to the prop as described in the book and shown in the movie. I believe one of these two was the source of inspiration. Either way, it was not entirely fictional. Now, the prop silencer in the movie does not actually work. I'm sure you already know. It was just built to resemble the description in Cormac McCarthy's book, which is as follows. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the prop. While the story is set in 1980, the prop is a Remington 1187 Sportsman, produced in 1987. At a glance, this model is identical to a correct Remington 1100, so it really doesn't matter. On the outside, the suppressor is clearly shop-made as described, being unfinished lathe-cut metal covered with bolts. The rear end cap is made of two halves, leaving a large seam. This seems to let the end cap clamp around the barrel while also preventing the suppressor from ever actually functioning, so that the production crew could avoid any legal restrictions or additional costs. Keep in mind, this prop is not really meant to be functional, it just has to look good on camera. While it is still a functional, real gun, it just has to look like a short, suppressed, semi-automatic shotgun, just like it's described in the book. Now, unlike the prop in the movie, my replica is fully functional and legal, and it's built onto a Remington 1187 Sportsman, just like the movie. The prop is left chrome, unfinished. I've excluded the bolts that were covering the suppressor that was in the movie. I think it looks nasty, unnecessary. Now, the proportions are actually true to the suppressor prop in the movie. With some fancy image editing software, I was able to very accurately estimate the dimensions of the prop suppressor. It was about 7 to 9 inches long, 3 inches in diameter. My suppressor is 3 inches in diameter and 8.5 inches long. Now, I would have made it 9 or 10 inches. The reason it's 8.5 is because I've had it previously installed on a AK.
3, you got 3.
Installed on the AK shotgun, it is a fully integral suppressor. The suppressor doesn't go beyond the original muzzle, so it still accepts standard chokes. In fact, if you had a threaded suppressor meant to attach to a Remington choke, you could attach that onto the muzzle of my integrally suppressed 12-gauge AK. Hey, actually, hit me up if you have a Rem choke threaded shotgun suppressor. We could have the first shotgun in the world with 2 different suppressors on it at once. I'm definitely not buying a threaded suppressor. If I can't make it, I don't want it. The movie prop was made with stainless steel end caps, probably an aluminum tube. It was quite heavy. Mine is completely aluminum except for a steel alignment plate, and it's not too heavy. It's just under 2 pounds. Like I said, originally it was fully integral with the suppressor wrapped around a ported section of barrel. The suppressor did not extend beyond the muzzle of the barrel. It was true on the 12 gauge AK that I had previously, and it was true on the 1187. I tried that and I didn't get the results that I wanted. Ears are still ringing a little bit. It's definitely not hearing safe. I found that the fully integral suppressor design was very convenient, incredibly safe, incredible load compatibility. However, that perforated tube, the barrel going through the suppressor, actually helped keep the gases flowing straight through and out the muzzle. So it was not very effective at reducing volume. So what I did was I reduced the barrel's length to about the center of the suppressor. The length beyond the ported barrel section is full of clipped cone baffles, which cause gas turbulence to help keep the gas off the center line of the suppressor, and it helps a lot. This design is very similar to the 1997 Hush Power design, just very, very short. So below the muzzle, this area is its own blast chamber, and the shot is still supported by the barrel, so it won't spread until it gets about to the center. Just like the Hush Power, the shot then flies through a series of baffles that have plenty of clearance cut through the bore for the shot to go through. Even though it's not really expanding a whole lot, it only has to travel about 4 inches. And just like the Clandestine 12, it is ran wet. I'm having very good results with cold water, some maybe alcohol, not as effective as the cold water, but alcohol is much cleaner. And with very light Weenie Hut Jr. 12 gauge subsonic loads, it is super quiet. Super quiet. The microphone really doesn't do it justice. While it is super quiet, it will not cycle a semi-automatic action at all. Even after I've modified the gas ports to run on lighter loads, it just will not run. Anything serious going through this thing is going to be a bit loud. I don't think I could get it very much quieter unless I made the suppressor 10, 12 inches long, maybe even longer. All right, y'all, now I'm gonna do a little comparison in sound. I'm gonna be testing out 3 loads with the suppressor, and I'm gonna be shooting it without the suppressor, just so I can show you the difference. Now, it's hard to accurately judge the volume of a gunshot through a microphone. A microphone could make an AK sound like a fart, honestly. It's actually something that I think silencer companies do. They use different microphones in different settings to get the best sound that they want. Lo and behold, once someone buys a silencer, especially a shotgun silencer, they think, hey, what the hell? This doesn't sound like the video. Well, anyways, here's the loads we got. The Winchester super light subsonic load. It's about 3/4 of an ounce, less than 1,000 FPS. Very wimpy. This is Weenie Hut Jr. 12 gauge. If you ever see a YouTube video where a guy's got a 12-inch Salvo 12 on a pump shotgun and it sounds like he's using this. So super light, 3/4 ounce, less than 1,000 FPS. Then my custom load, 1 5/8 ounce of heavy shot, going at about 900 feet per second. And then your good old target load. It's about 1 1/8 ounce, 1145 FPS. I think 1145 FPS is what's advertised as, you know, being shot through a full length barrel, maybe even a 28-inch barrel, something like that for trap shooting. I believe since my barrel is shorter, the actual length of my barrel is 19 inches, but because of the porting, it goes from the back of the chamber to the first port. That's about 15 inches. So you could expect velocity of, you know, a 15-inch SBS with this thing, with standard loads. So this 1145 FPS load might end up being 1100 or 1080 or 1050. To me, it sounds like it's to me it sounds like it's subsonic. Quite loud, but subsonic. Man, this thing feels so much lighter without that suppressor. Now, just so you can get an idea of what's normal with this microphone, this is 2 standard supersonic target loads. Pretty loud. All right, now we've got 2 of the super light subsonics from Winchester, the Weenie Hut Junior loads. They absolutely will not cycle a semi-auto, even with the suppressor. That's quiet. That's almost sneaky quiet. You can hear that echo a little bit. It's certainly hearing safe. It's so quiet I can hear the wad landing on the ground over there. All right, now we've got 2 heavy subsonics, 1 5/8 ounce. These will cycle. I would be testing it with buckshot today, but it's a pain in the ass to cast it. So we're running subsonic birdshot. Man, that's so quiet. I can hear the water fizzling out of it. Some of it got me in the face too. All right, standard Winchester supersonic target loads. This is the same load that Federal's got. You get it at any Walmart. Here we go. Still hearing safe. Clearly slightly louder. You can hear that bigger echo, but hearing safe. This thing is sweet, dude. I want to test something. We've got a super light supersonic in here versus a heavy subsonic. Let's see how hard they hit the target. Super, sub. Sounds like it smacked it a little bit more. It's getting dirty, real dirty. All right, we got it fully loaded with super light subsonics, just for fun. 1 in the dirt. It's like shooting a subsonic 22, man. That's awesome. Hitting the plate is just about as loud as the gunshot. Now, if you think this is weird, we're getting weirder. This is a rifled slug with 3 triple-up buck. It's like a modern buck and ball. I want to see if I can actually hit something with this aiming off the top of the suppressor. I don't even have a bead. And this thing's marketed as 1145 FPS. I think out of this short ported barrel, it might be just barely subsonic or transonic. Let's see. Let's take a look. Was this y'all earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the slug. I do not know where the pellets went, but I guess that's a good thing. If I miss with the slug, the pellet's hitting something. It knocked the plate off the chains.
Got the steel plate then over there on the other one.
Super light subsonics. Yank that out, hit the button. Last one. That's it. Man, you're running it like you made it.
Right.
Yeah, these should cycle just perfect. Perfect.
Quiet. Nice and quiet.
Yeah, I need to make more of these.
Yeah, you do.
Don't worry, it's a blunderbuss. You got this. One more. I think you got one more. You're out. You want one for home defense?
Jesus, yeah, sure, man. I think I'm wearing it, but.
Anyway, this build has been a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more like it, please like and subscribe. I'm going to try not to waste your time. I will be making more projects like this when I have the time. However, I'm not an FFL. It's quite expensive for me to make these. I'm not able to sell them. So these projects are more for my interest, your entertainment, and training, honestly. I've always wanted to be a gunsmith, and I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I can't afford to go to SDI, and I'm not sure if that'd be very much help anyways. I'm learning everything as I go. If you've never seen my channel before, I'm Alan Griffith, sole proprietor of Griffith Guns. What I do is I manufacture the GG92 compensator, a threadless compensator for the Beretta 92 series. Also make some other designs, compensator for the Beretta Tomcat with a light mount too. If you'd like to support what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. It is free. Again, I'll try not to waste your time. If you really want to support what I'm doing, I don't want donations, but you can go pick up one of my excellent compensators. The GG92 compensator is the most effective and most convenient Beretta 92 compensator on the market. Speaking of which, I've got more ideas that I want to make. Things that I will sell as soon as I can get an FFL, not now. All I can sell now is unregulated parts like compensators, light mounts, exotic but unregulated parts. I'm thinking for the next one, I'll make an exact and functional replica of the compensator and suppressor combo from Leon the Professional. I think that'd be pretty neat. If you would like to see that hit the market someday, or if you want to get yourself one of these, sorry, I can't do it yet. Please like and subscribe, buy something nice on my website, and someday it'll happen. Thank you very much.